Please like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the videos. Was there a moment wherein you thought it was a glitch in the Matrix? What are your stories? One time when I was like 8, I was rolling a toy plane. I distinctly remember it was an F-117 stealth fighter, across my desk. It rolled off my desk and just disappeared. I didn't lose it. It just disappeared. There was nowhere for it to go and I never found it again. This happened to me when I was 14 or 15. I pre-ordered the special edition of Doom 3 and it came with a little pewter figurine of one of the monsters in the game. I accidentally knocked it off my desk and never heard it hit the ground, never saw it again. My room was carpeted so there's a chance I might not have heard the sound it made, but I looked fucking everywhere for it and could never find it. I lived in that room for 4 years after that, constantly rearranging and moving around, never saw it. And there was nothing under the desk it could have fallen into either. So weird. I have a very visually distinctive necklace. Well, one day, after I took it disappeared. I looked and looked for it, finally giving up, and wrote my necklace off as lost forever. A few weeks later I was dusting the ceiling fan when I noticed a shadow in the light globe. So I undone the globe from off the fan, thinking the shadow was maybe a bug. No bug. The shadow was my necklace. We visited the Spaceflight Center in Huntsville a few years ago and I got an A12, looks like the SR-71, coffee cup. I started drinking coffee in it every day and for more than a year, everything was normal. I wake up, go pour coffee, drink it downstairs, wash it, then go back to work in my office upstairs. Sometimes, I get a second cup of coffee and bring it up to my office and then bring it down when I'm done to wash and reset for the next day. On May 1st of last year, I forgot to bring it back downstairs from my office. Next morning, I wake up and go downstairs to have a cup of coffee like usual in my A12 cup I got from the Space and Rocketry Center in Huntsville, Alabama. When I'm done, I wash it and put it away and go upstairs to start work. And there's the cup from the day before with an inch of cold coffee in it. I bring it downstairs, trying to figure out what's going on, and the one I just used is still sitting in the drying rack. I now have 2 A12 coffee cups. In the months since, they've both picked up a little bit of their own character, but at the time I brought the original and its doppelganger together, they had the same scuff marks and were in every way I could tell identical. I don't have an explanation for how this happened. I don't know how this cup somehow duplicated or why or how to do it again, but what I do have is 2 A12 cups even though I only bought one. My brother got a lucky rabbit's foot keychain. I was tossing it in the air and catching it. One time it went up, but didn't come down. 30 years later I was working in the ceiling and found it on the heat duct that was covered by a drop ceiling. I woke up in the morning and saw a trailer for a movie named Hannah. I was then scrolling through my Google Calendar and saw it was my friend Hannah's birthday. Later on in the night I had some friends come over and we were about to go to a bar. I ordered DoorDash and the delivery girl's name was Hannah. I went out that night and got a girl named Hannah's number who I dated for about 6 months. Nothing else came up the relationship, but that was an extremely bizarre coincidence and follow-up circumstance. It made me really consider the Matrix theory. I once found a 20-sided dice that I had lost a few years prior in America, in the middle of a desert in Israel. It was the exact same dice as well. I remember because it was the same coloring and had the same scratched off number as well. I dropped a piece of A4 paper at work and it landed stood up on the short edge. It wasn't bent or folded, literally a fresh sheet of paper just standing all by itself. What's more, it happened twice whilst I was at that workplace. Never seen it happen again. I was maybe around 5 years old. Pretending to be a magician. I put a pen in this big activity book and waved my hands over it and said abracadabra to make the pen disappear. The pen literally disappeared. The bulge you would see of a pen being in a book was gone. Look through the entire book. Look around the floor. Couldn't find it. Never found it. We moved out of that house when I was 11 and never found the pen. One time I farted really loud in the middle of a classroom of about 30 students and no one even acknowledged it. I had known almost everyone in the class for at least 10 years, and I know if they heard it they would all bust out laughing. I've posted this before, so I'm just gonna copy/paste my old comment. My bedroom at the time lead into the living room that you could see into the kitchen. We also had a bathroom that was directly off our room, in the corner. You couldn't get to it unless you were in our room. I woke up one afternoon. I remember sitting up, checking my phone and lighting a cigarette. I got out of bed, opened the bedroom door, walked into the living room to turn the thermostat up. I saw my ex in the kitchen fiddling around with the coffee pot. Then he started walking towards the back of the house, into the other bedroom. I said, "Hey. "You're up early." He looked at me, and kept on walking. I went back into our room and sat on the bed. After a few minutes I called his name, and he opened the bathroom door and said yeah. Apparently he was in the bathroom the whole time. I was very confused and super freaked out because I could have sworn I saw him in the kitchen. There's no way it was him if he was in the bathroom. It shook me up pretty bad. Years ago I lost a can of tuna. I took it out of the pantry to make a sandwich, but then decided to just have cereal, and put it back. Before I got the cereal I changed my mind again and took the can back out of the pantry and set it down. I had been craving tuna on toast with extra tomato and had bought it the evening before specifically to make that. I get the can opener and the can was gone. I looked all over the kitchen and never found it. I even checked the pantry and sure enough I was missing a can. I had bought a certain number like 4 for $1 or something. This was in the 90s. I have 2 dogs. One has medical issues and needs pills at very set times 4x/day. Because of this, everything we do is very routine. The other night, I let them out to potty after dinner. They go out in the normal order, go to their normal spots for sniffing and doing their business. I give my normal verbal reminder after a few minutes to stop sniffing and messing around and finish potty so we can go back in. Same thing every day. They came running back in the normal order, big dog first, not quite as big dog next, but for some reason the short hair medium-size overweight brown dog didn't come in. I stood there a few more moments waiting for this dog I knew for certain was coming next, just like every day. Having to answer nature's call myself, I was going to call the brown dog to hurry up. When I tried, I realized I could not remember this dog's name. Then, it all came crashing down on me. I only have 2 dogs. I don't know if it was a glitch in the matrix, a momentary lapse of sanity, or a quick slip into an alternate dimension, but I was so absolutely certain and could describe in detail what this other dog looked like. I've never had a dog matching what I expected, nor do any of my neighbors. I walked by my colleague who was having a conversation. The convo definitely continued after I passed. I walked another 150 meters, went up a staircase, and walked by a room. My colleague was in that room, talking to another person. I was shook. Later in the day I verified that I had indeed passed her. I asked how she could have gotten past me and she just said I'm a fast walker. You ain't that fast. She would have had to run up a different staircase, outpace me in the same hall but 1 floor above. I just didn't see how it happened. This isn't really a glitch, but occasionally I will fall asleep and dream at night and recognize the dream from when I was a very little kid, I'm 31, and basically pick up from where I left off. This has happened with 5 separate dreams now. As in I'll dream I'm in a particular place doing a particular thing and remember inside the dream that I left off here when I was 6 and this is what happened before I reached this point. My first job after college. One night I was working a bit late, and ended up leaving the office at roughly 6:30. I was living with my parents at the time who were a 17-minute drive from my office. There was rarely any traffic on my drive home so this was usually pretty consistent. I got in the car and drove straight home. I arrived back home at my parents' house around 8:15. I still have no idea where that extra 88 minutes went. The only rational explanation I could come up with was that I somehow worked an extra hour without noticing it. However, this would have required me to misread both the clocks in my workplace as well as the one in my car which I recalled looking at before pulling out of the parking lot. I checked all of my clocks the next day and none of them were wrong. It's been several years now so my brain is more inclined to believe that I somehow made a mistake, but at the time I remember methodically going through all the possibilities and disproving them one by one. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe for more real-life creepy encounters around the world. See you in the next video. Bye.